Dear Venerables, Dhamma friends, we are going to have a Dhamma talk. Everyone may settle down for that and give the consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Te man dukkha nirodhang ariya satchang puccanti. Te sang dukkha nirodhang ariya satchang putto veya karomi ti. Dear Venerables and the Dhamma friends, the today quotation also, I took it from the same sutta, namely Maha Sakuludaayi Sutta. Still the Buddha is in the dialogue with the Sakuludaayi, and first the Sakuludaayi explained why the Buddha is so venerated, respected and revered, and disciples are ready to live in dependence upon Buddha with respect and veneration. And then Buddha is highlighting the real facts according to his own omniscient knowledge. He too come out with 5 qualities of himself. Now we have gradually come up to the 4th one, whereby the Buddha says, sometimes the disciples, they come and ask about the truth of suffering. Whenever they are desperately engulfed with dukkha or suffering and inundated with and no way out, and then come and ask from the Buddha, what is this noble truth of suffering? And when and where they specify their question with respect to the truth of suffering, the Buddha give explanation or give answer for that. The way he is giving the answer, the mind of that particular person who asks will be satisfied. And that is the way they venerate me, they respect me, they revere me, and they are ready to live in dependence upon me with respect and veneration. Equally, yesterday we discussed some of his disciples may come and ask what the root cause of this suffering or noble truth of the cause of suffering. When their question is related to the root cause or proximate cause of the suffering, the Buddha give the answer and give in such a way the particular person's mind is satisfying their mind. And that is why, in that sense, no one can give such a lucid explanation or crispy explanation, pragmatic explanation. So, in that sense, the Buddha is excellent. So therefore, any person come in search of the answer with respect to the cause of suffering, he can give. Today we are going to take dukkha nirodhang ariya satchang, the noble truth of suffering, of the cessation. And whenever someone is asking question, and if Buddha recognize or diagnose this statement or this question or this interrogation with respect to the cessation, he verily understands the question and answer in such a way the person who asks becomes satisfied with his or her mind with this explanation. That means these 4 noble truths, they are working as a one chain, one lead to the other, and despite that, they can stand one by one, separately also. So therefore, whenever the Buddha giving a common sermon, he explain it first, the truth of suffering, and then the cause of the suffering or truth of suffering, and then the cessation, and then the pathway leading to the cessation. But when and where someone is asking the particular question, interrogation, the Buddha is very sharp to understand whether that is related to the truth of suffering or the root cause of suffering or cessation or way leading to the cessation. So that understanding the question and giving that particular answer is very pragmatic, it's very down to earth and very relative. So whenever someone is asking about the truth of suffering, if you are going to talk about the way leading to the cessation of suffering, so Bombay looking Calcutta. So that is what happening in the world today. You never understand the question, and people are coming and asking different multivarious questions. And sometimes they themselves do not know where the question arises. So whenever they ask, the person has to understand this question is related to the normal, the first truth of suffering. Or it is something deeper, asking about the cause of suffering. Or maybe something related to the cessation. Or asking the way leading to that cessation of suffering. So understanding this part usually happening in the interviews or in the dialogue or in the confrontation. It is something like counseling or something like free association. So you have to let the other person ask questions, never stop it. No, don't think the other person has no rights to ask questions. Each and everyone has their own rights. So therefore the thinker, immersion, if I am not taken wrongly, mentioned he may be asking or he may be expressing something against my view or my expectation, maybe against me. But I will I will fight to my last drop of blood for his rights to ask this question. He has his rights. I have to assure it. This is what you call the democracy. This is what you call the humanity. So therefore, each and every question, and clearly understand the question. So when we were in Panditarama, once a week, we have question and answer session, Saturday. So you have to write the question and put. And then the translator has to, we would write in English, translator put into Burmese, and Sayadaw has a writing pad, and he write down in Burmese, and then ask the translator, please repeat this question, is that what he is asking or she is asking? So again the translator has to translate Sayadaw's Burmese version and ask, this is what you are asking. Okay. Then only Sayadaw going to give answer. Sometimes very silly questions, unbecoming. Sayadaw is one of the great masters. People come and ask, Bhante, when we wish to come to Burma, we need visa. Once we died, if we become Buddha, can still you need visa to come to Burma? These are the type of questions. And when we are doing merits, we pass it to that. If he's a human being, can we get the same portion, same proportion, same the way that we did? Or if we become a Deva, can we get the same proportion? If we become Brahma, so Sayadaw is, I see the patience. One day, he told, the person asking the question may be a cowboy, but you have to behave like a bodhisattva. Don't look down the question. He may be asking the way he knows. So it is your duty, if you have to help, what is the source of this question? And how can I give the answer for that particular question? Don't show that you are a well-learned and well-read. So that is the way you suppress the other person. You just answer to the point. And give a chance the other person to ask if you have any other further clarification, then only you have to go into. Otherwise, if you are going to pour all your knowledge upon the person, you are just boasting and unasked for, irrelevant. So therefore, sometimes, occasionally, I get a chance to listen to this question and answer session in the mass media. So I listen. What a kind of miscommunication. And nowadays, so much of such dialogues. But still, the question is the question. Nothing answered. So therefore, pinpointing or hit on the nail exactly is so electric. That communication is so refreshing. Not only the questionnaire, but even the answering and the audience. So therefore it says question and answer or dialogue or kind of thing is a whole body exercise. Just like climbing a coconut tree. The whole body gets exercised. Like riding a horse. Like swimming in the water, it gives the whole body exercise. Likewise, if you understand the correct question and give the answer, it is like whole body, so naturally it is rejuvenating. So therefore, understanding this, if you understand the question is pertaining to the cessation, answer up to the point, to the satisfaction of that particular person, and don't try to mix it up with other parts. Then ultimately the value, the crispy nature, the cut and dry nature reduces. So on that sense, if you can communicate, if you can give the question in clear way, I have never seen a person like Upandita sharp to the point, short to the point, not even a single word excess, and cut and dry. So you see, he can't speak English. But he is born and brought up in Burma. It's such a close country. But sharpness. So that we must understand or we must appreciate, because knowledge is useless if you do not know how to apply and when to apply and the quantity you apply. Otherwise you are mishandling it. So therefore most of the questions arising in the question and answer session indicates what kind of a motivation, what kind of a volition, what kind of a thing indicate in this question. So that is the most important thing. The day you understand this mechanism, you never ask question from others, you will ask the question from you, from what source this question is arising. It is just to show others, or it is to check the speaker's abilities, or just you get the chance, therefore you keep on asking, or to hint that I know it. These things are very, very minuous. And problem is, don't hint that way the other person who is asking, that is also minuous. You have to keep his respect. You have to keep your respect. You have to keep the respect of Dhamma. That is how it is happening. So therefore, the day you understand the communication problem, you will ask less and less question externally. You will analyze and see from where does this happen. Is it just fear for the sake of theory? Or am I really need the practical guides? So when I was in Toronto, there was one person behind a pillar asking question and question and question. And when I'm answering, I came to know that he wanted to show that he has done all kind of things but no use. And what is your answer? So at the end I told, the person is asking question not to know but to test myself. And later he came and apologized, Bhante, I am an ex-monk. I went to Burma and did practice and everything. So this is what it happens. But I ask you, what is the benefit of answer you are going to get? Nothing. He never wait to listen to the answer. Keep on answering. So therefore, these things indicate miscommunication. So the subject today we are going to learn about the cessation of suffering needs clarity, sharp to the point. Otherwise, there won't be end to these questions. So I try my best to give in the relative and pragmatic way to indicate the Nirodha Satya or this truth of cessation is here and now. It is not to expect in the next Buddha or not to expect at the end of the sitting session. No. Each and every moment you meditate, you are in Nirodha Satya, but you don't know. So I cordially invite, keep openness and understand or try to understand. Then not only you are going to understand the sermon, you will understand when and where Nirodha or the cessation happens. If you are rejecting it, there is no benefits. Even if it is in front of your eyes. If you are to understand it or you are to appreciate it, there you get the full benefits. So therefore it is not a problem of lack of Nirodha. It's a problem of misunderstanding or hate to Nirodha or the cessation. So therefore we have to slowly or gradually analyze it and see what does it mean by this Nirodha. So whenever you find this term Nirodha in the normal canonical usage is Nibbida, Viraga, Nirodha. They are like closely associating terms. Nibbida is kind of a tastelessness, and Viraga is a bleaching or disappearing its color, and Nirodha is the cessation. So that kind of a wearing off and tearing off. So understand, we are talking about in the common sense or in the practical sense, Nirodha means cessation of your frustration, cessation of your tension. So therefore you have to first understand what the tension in our day-to-day life. We are hectic, chasing behind the time, and always with so much of tension, we don't know. So this is called samsaric suffering, or perpetuation of our day-to-day chorus and full of tension. So with that amount of tension, if it is too much, it is going to create physical and mental sicknesses. And not only physical and mental sicknesses, you be a problem to the society because you are transgressing. You are trespassing social code, norms. Because your tension. Whenever you are not in tension, you never trespass, you never transgress any kind of thing. And whenever you are in the stress, whenever in the tension, you harm yourself as well as the others. So without understanding that very tension, whatever the social work or social amendments you are going to do, or the medicine or counseling you are going to do, no avail, because your source is again and again. So therefore, not only the Nirodha, understanding of your very frustration is very, very crucial. So whenever you are in frustration, whenever you are in the stress, if you can be mindful to say, this is what you call frustration, this is what you call the tension, that as an equal value, because Nirodha is something relative to this frustration. So therefore, understanding frustration you can do in two ways. One thing is understand the frustration of the other person and you can compare yourself. And you can understand the frustration while you are within yourself. Usually you overlook it. So often you see the frustration once it's gone. Once you go to the history, then you can see, whenever you remember the past, you have the remorse. You have the, sometimes called guilt. So that is also aftermath of the frustration that if you do not have, the Buddha says, you will never seek the truth. You become seeker because of this frustration. So therefore, if you understand I am a disciple of the Buddha, or mendicant, you have to understand because of this frustration only it happens. So frustration is a must. Throughout you have to have the understanding of frustration as it is. Don't camouflage it. Just as it is, that is very difficult. That represented by a question. Each and every question is an indication that particular person may or knowingly or unknowingly present it or vomit it or catharsis. So you have, when you are dialogue in other person, the person who is listening, if he's a person have the compassion and clarity, he or she can understand what is the source of this question. So therefore, first and foremost thing is to understand the Nirodha Satya, or the truth of cessation, the day-to-day frustration. That we call common sense. If you do not have that, very difficult for someone to relatively understand the Nirodha Satya. If I am to give a worldly example, when you go to a doctor, and if you can't explain your symptoms, if you expect everything to take from the machines and the gadgets, completely misunderstanding can happen. So, as far as the patient can talk, the doctor is try to get the first-hand experience by the patient's words, the patient's expression. So when we were doing senior cadetting in the university, in the schools, we are being trained by the first aid. And aid, the term, is coming from the three letters A, I, D. A means ask. If the patient can't talk, I investigate and then detect. That is why the aid means. So therefore, whenever you are to help someone, just ask his or her question, his or her lacking thing. What is the relationship? Why did you come? Rather than jumping and giving. So this is very, very practical. So therefore, the person, if you are a person searching for the truth, you must understand the search. Asana is the term in Pali. Asana is you are searching outside because you are not contented here and now. That's why you are asking. That's why you are going on search. And research is the double-fold madness. Not only the search, it is research. So present day in the world, all the research you can say how much eccentric, leading away from the here now I am. All the research in the world misguiding you not to be here and now, because be here and now appear like mystics. It is not scientific. Any scientific research is the past or other places and otherwise, so it is called outwardly. Methodology is exactly what the Buddha prescribed. The Buddha says, you do research, but it is inwardly, we call insight. So therefore, when and where you to investigate within, of course you have to compare it with outside, that is part and partial. But lacking part in our quest is our basic first-hand experience, who am I and what is happening here now I am. So with that only you can understand this search is basically because of this vacuum. It's something lacking. You are in a necessity. So therefore, that very understanding, don't expect others to come and teach you common sense. But when you are sitting, you have the difficulty. That is why you used to get up and go. When you are walking, it is difficult for you to do so. You feel go and sit down again. And when you are eating the morning, you get the full stomach. But 6 hours time, again you are hungry. Again you have to go and eat. So at the morning after the breakfast, you are just going to throw away all the food. You are bloody full. I need no anything. I am fully satisfied and not necessary. But again, 6 hours time, you have to go to put a salute and ask another plate. To see this perpetuation. So in Chula Sunyata Sutta, I would like to explain this, the way the Buddha explained, how we are dealing with this frustration, or tension, or vacuum, or unsatisfactoriness. The one day Venerable Ananda go to the Buddha when he was in Migaramātupāsāda Pūrvārāma near Sravasti. Bhante, I remember one day you mentioned you are dwelling in sunyata or in voidness, sunyata viharana, when you was at your hometown in Nigrodharama, Kimpulwata. I heard it, but I don't know the meaning. Is it correct that I have heard it, grasped it? Can I ask the same question from you? What does it mean by sunyata viharana, dwelling in the voidness? Then the Buddha says, Ananda, what you have heard is correct. And you are asking also valid. Not only at that time, even now I am in the sunyata viharana. Then the dialogue starts. Then Buddha is explaining the sunyata, that means kind of a cessation of the frustration, cessation of the tension, or cessation of the unsatisfactoriness. The Buddha says, oh, Ananda, you see, we are now in Migaramātupāsāda. It's like the forest or solitude place. And when you come to the Migaramātupāsāda, as far as you are pakkandati, pasidati, santittati, adimucchati, if you are happy that you came to Migaramātupāsāda or you renunciate and come to this kind of a forest dwelling, then as far as you are in Migaramātupāsāda and you are happy here, well established, resolute, and please, so much so, you are not worrying about your household. You are not worrying about the horses, elephants, cows, gold and silver, community meetings at the house, because now you came to Migaramātupāsāda and you are pleased here and you are established here, you are resolute here. So therefore, as far as you are living and appreciate very living in this renunciate life, you are completely free of the gamut of this whole frustration, the whole unsatisfactoriness, tension related to your household life. So that is what you call. So now you are sunyata viharana. You are living in void of this huge amount of frustration with respect to the household life, with respect to the community life. So that if you can't understand, so what the kind of nirodha you are asking? When you are renounced, but still if you are thinking back at home, can you imagine any peace of mind, any dwelling here, any kind of establishing here? No. Even bodily you come here, you live mentally at home. So then you cannot say you are in sunyata viharana. Maybe occasionally you think about the past, your household and all the kind of thing, but the thought moment Buddha specifically mentioned is when and where you appreciate your renunciation and you are in the renounced place, and as far as mind is established there, resolute there and penetrated there, at that moment the household frustration can't attack you. Household tension cannot come into that because your mind is penetrated with this solitude or forest dwelling. So therefore, more and more you appreciate this, at that very thought moment, it is called momentary nibbana or momentary nirodha. At that thought moment, you are doing away with this unavoidable, unthinkable amount of pressure, amount of frustration, amount of tension. So that it's a very common, very gross, very pragmatic thing. So therefore don't think, again I am reminding, to be whole day, whole hour away from the household. Occasionally it may go back, past, all the relationship, but imagine few thought moments. You are not, or you are appreciating, what a nice way that I am living with other precept holders, meditators. We are depending on something given, food, something given, the bedding, so I am happy here. Not the happiness, it says you are penetrated here. You are resolute here. You are established here. You are pleased here. That thought moment, you are free from that whole kind of thing. So that is the very first stepping stone. And then the Buddha says, Ananda, now we are heavy, but you see here monks are there, and the forest is there. And it is not, amenities are not enough. Not like household. And definitely you are in some kind of a roughing out. To rough out with. But due to this little bit of rough out, what a kind of, how much frustration you are doing away with, that you have to appreciate, then only the progress happens. The coming to the forest itself is naturally or intrinsically not a comfort life. It is a frustration. It is not going to give everything, but you have to understand this. We are eating, coming from the food coming from the same pot. The beddings and dwellings are decided by someone. So we have to deal with. It is not fulfilling everything, but it is doing away so much of frustration, so much of this thing with respect to the household life or community life. So if you can't appreciate that, you will never entertain, you will never appreciate, you will never establish here, you will never get the resolution here. So therefore, it is not the Buddha giving, it is not the forest giving, that your appreciation of the cessation of so much, but with respect to pivoting about the present frustration, you get rid of little bit of frustration, but you get rid of so much of chunk of the frustration. It is like you are, to remove a very big rock, you take a pivot, small rock, and you leverage, and then you can pull off the big rock with the respect of the small. So the frustration you get, or unsatisfactory you get in this forest living, is just like the pivot, the stone. If you do not know that, you will never understand Nibbana, you will never understand Nirodha, because further steps are more subtle. What I can understand is, even if you are renounce the life, household life, your mind is still dwelling in the household majority, then you are not getting the benefits of it, unless otherwise you know how to pick, how to understand the few thought moments where you are happy in this retreat, happy in this Nissarana. If you have to take this example. So much so you are doing away with. So then once that is established, then Venerable the Buddha is asking Venerable Ananda, suppose now you are in the forest. And while in the forest, you feel like go and sit. And you try to confine your thinking only to your body. At that time, as far as you are appreciating, as far as you are establishing, resolute and pleased with your body, you are doing away not only with the household problems and frustration and the tension, you are doing away with the frustration and tension with respect to the forest living also. Because your present moment is confined to the body. So imagine now you are taking a still smaller pivot to get rid of the first pivot. And as far as you are here, you are more in the sunyata viharana, or more in the dwelling in the voidness, because you know your area is now limited to the body. And you know it is how difficult, but possible. It's a challenge. So when and where you do it, you can understand in a sitting, or in a walking, or while you are washing your hands and doing your day-to-day activities, how much time you are within yourself. Oh, I know my posture. Each and every time you restrain your territory to yourself, definitely the problems at your home or any present moment problems existing in the house cannot come and penetrate you. Whatever happening in the forest, even if you are living in these premises, your mind is confined to the body. So therefore, confining to the body, or appreciation and pleasing with your body posture, or resolute with your body posture is almost like generosity of the whole world. You give up whole world. So therefore Buddha says, being with body means you are ready to give up the whole world. So this is the biggest generous action you can do. It is not by giving food, not by giving clothes, not by giving dwellings, not by giving medicine, but by confining the mindfulness, so to say, to your body, you are doing away with the whole world. So therefore Nibbana, Nirodha is known as Chaga, Patinisagga, Mutti, Analayo. Chaga means giving up. In order to give up, you have to hold something. That is the secret of the Buddha. In order to give up, you have to hold something resolutely. You have to be pleased with something resolutely. Penetrate into something resolutely. As far as you are with resolution with your body, you are generous. Your whole world. So, if you are to explain this to a traditional Sri Lankan Buddhist, whenever such a generous thing happens, whenever such a pinkama happens, they say, how can that be a merit-making business? If it is a merit-making business, there should have drum beating. There should have other perfumes. There should have a lot of people. But there is nothing. You are confining your attention to the body, and someone is going to say, this is the biggest merit. This is very difficult. Very difficult to convince. I have my fair doubt about you people also, unless otherwise you have meditated few days before this Dhamma talk. Otherwise you will never believe, dwelling one split second with your body knowingly, or consciously, or volitionally. You understand that means at that moment, you have already given up. But you never appreciate it. You never appreciate, you would think, if I am at home, I would have done a lot of merits. By being here, no chance to do merits. So people once come and doing residential retreat, they are asking permission to do this merit and that merit. They don't know this dwelling in one place is giving up all. So therefore, holding one thing means giving up all the kind of thing. Imagine you are sitting 1 hour, but 1 second, one time you can be here and now. The Upanishad Sayadaw says, you note, I am sitting. And the next second, you note it, you come to know, I am sitting. Another second, 5 seconds, we'll say 5 thought moments you are here and now. And 1 minute, 60 times. 5 minutes, 600 times. So you can see, amidst of all the past, future, other people, other places, merit making, all the business, you can still have, you can save 30 times, for 5 minutes, one noting per 1 second rate. So this is the task. But it never happens because you never appreciate, you never understand. Being here and now is the biggest generous thing. And the next thing is, no any transgression from the verbal and physical misdeeds. Utterly you are preserving it. But you are asking, am I in Sankarupeka Jnana or am I in Udyabbe Jnana? Talking nonsense. That means you never appreciate be here and now. You never report it. Because you are expecting something magical or something from outside. So the Buddha says, as far as you are living in 1 minute or 1 second, in that minute, in that second, you have done away with your whole world of worries. Not only related to the household life, even related to the forest living. And imagine when you are observing, you see air element, sometimes you see earth element. Now the situation is a little deeper. And then sometimes fire element, sometimes the liquidity. And you see when and where the air element become prominent, it is naturally suppressing all the other 3 elements. That is their own business. So therefore, instead of the whole body, that means 4 elements, if you are only noting, only focusing to the prominent element, conspicuous element, frequent element, by observing 1 element, you can do away with all the other 3 elements. So therefore, Buddha gave an example. While sitting, you feel the earth element, it is touching on the earth and the hardness, softness, smoothness, roughness, heaviness, lightness. So that whole body means earth element. So I verily know, my sitting means I feel heaviness, I feel lightness, I feel smoothness, roughness, all the kind of earth element. That means by understanding that you can do away with the household suffering or worry, monastic suffering and worry, whole your body also. The moment it is face to face with the air element or earth element or fire element or liquidity or water element, that very knowledge, it must be very conscious. You must understand it's very sharp now. As far as you know, you are in sunyata viharana because you are void of all the frustration with respect to the household life or social life or living in the forest or maintaining the body, but you are monitoring the air element as and when it is happening. If it is the fire element, you are monitoring that. If it's the earth element, you are monitoring that. And it's a liquidity, the sweating and salivation or whatever, you are monitoring that. So by keeping that, by focusing that, by keeping in under the nose and knowing very that, you can understand your mind is void, free from all the worries, but still the Buddha says that very bloody thing you are looking at is troublesome. The air element you see, it is a friction. It's a kind of aberration. By true aberration also you know I am with the air element, or sometimes heat element, sometimes fire element, whatever may be, it is not very attractive. Because it won't give any fame, gain, money, nothing. But you know by association, by conscious knowledge, you can done away or doing away so much of frustration. So therefore this air element or earth element what you are taking as the pivot is helping so much for you to appreciate your sunyata viharana, free from all the frustration. So that very understanding you do only with respect to the air element, but inferential knowledge or rational knowledge indicate, otherwise my mind is flying kites, past, future, other people, other places, but now I know this is the air element, this is the earth element. So, since we have passed few days in this retreat, I will explain further one step the Buddha is telling, Buddha is expressing to Venerable Ananda. Imagine you have confined only to the touch of the earth or hardness, softness like earth element. Or you are dealing with air element in breath and out breath. Now imagine when the air element ceases to exist, where is your frustration? You have taken the air element for the moment as the pivot. Now that is also you verily report, but I can't see in breath and out breath, it ceases to exist. So then the Buddha is asking, your cessation of in-breath and out-breath means cessation of your frustration and tension. So therefore your whole facilitation, your adverting of your mind must be to understand the breath and consecutively observe it, it ceases to exist. That means a kind of a frustration ceases to exist. Kind of a tension ceases to exist. But it's a completely opposite can happen. When the breath becomes subtler and subtler, there's a huge amount of fear can happen. Huge amount of uncertainty can happen. Huge amount of get up and go idea can happen. That is because you have never heard Dhamma. You think the object is my solace or security, my mindfulness, my concentration. Instead now the object is disappearing. So where is my mindfulness? Where is my concentration? Where is my limits? Where am I? Who am I? So much of problem. So at that moment, you have to have certain amount of theoretical understanding. You selected this air element or earth element in order to do away with the household frustration and the tension. The monastery household and tension. The whole body so-called tension. Instead, body represented by this air element. Now you are only with the air element. If you tackle properly, if you tackle with the confidence, that is also ceases to exist. So this is, the Buddha says, because of your patipada means your systematic approach of the teaching of the Buddha, because of reduction of defilements, reduction of kilesas. But hardly any person can understand the cessation with respect to that way. So therefore many meditators already understood, already experienced it, but no one know how to facilitate it, what to do next, because the cessation appear like a threat, appear like a source of doubts or entertaining doubts. So understand, the mindfulness will lose because now object is disappearing. Concentration will lose because the object is disappearing. In order to not to get trapped or carried away by that kind of magic of the mind or cunning nature of the mind, my teacher, Jnanarama used to say, whenever someone is reporting, one day I started, after long struggling, I got the breath in face to face. Now I can look at it, and to make the long story short, now I can see the cessation. And then what to do? Sometimes I fall into sleep. I feel like get up and go. Or I feel like doubts. So that presentation, suppose it is coming to you, when you are answering, you have to tell that particular person, you see, if you are sharp enough, if you are skillful enough in the patipada or this way, and if the defilements are reducing, this is what it happens. The first time when you go there, you are not going prepared. So next time you are in the same meditation hall, you are in the same precepts, you are in the same faith. So therefore next time, go into it, preparedness, that is not brainwashing. You are lucky enough, you have merits, you have potential, so it has came accidentally, but you don't know how to tackle it. Therefore you don't know whether the mind will go to the sleepiness or doubts or whatever maybe, so next time, go prepared. So when you go prepared, still one by one shot or overnight or one listening or one topic, you will not be fully skillful. But if you go prepared, you know to facilitate, just let it go, calming down, and when it is calmed, protect it. Let that calmness set in, and when let that calmness settle down, and you will understand more than yesterday. You can be with it, familiar with it, seasoned with it, master with it. So it very slow, very painfully slow. Now you learn how to be mindful without an object. So far you are in the sphere of gravity. Now you are going to go to the space odyssey or to the beyond the orbit. Now you have to learn how to work in the sphere. There is no gravity. So being here, it is just theory. Being here, it is deductive knowledge, inferential knowledge. But the Buddha says, don't take it, leave it to the next life. Don't leave it to the someone's grace. Now you know. When next time when you go prepared, you can see there is an equilibrium. Just like when you are face to face with the in-breath and out-breath, there is an equilibrium. You know meditation is progressing. Because earlier even the breath was not face to face. And now breath ceases to exist. Still you are not giving up because you are go prepared, and ultimately you can see even without an object, the mindfulness can sustain. That is just like when the plane is gathering the momentum, after a certain amount of speed, when the shape of the wings are changing from the solid to the air, transference can take place, aerodynamics can take place. And you can see, as far as the wheels are going on the ground, you can feel thudding sound and the shocks and all the kind of thing. When and where it is about to be airborne, you know something happening. So you see, at that time, the captain is telling the message, now we are about to take off, even the staff members should go to their respective place, you must be tighten belts. Because it is very crucial place. So everyone must listen to the captain. So likewise, when you are experienced once, second time when you go there, take it as very important event or significant, important change in your life. So next time also don't change your feeding habit, don't change your sleeping habit, don't change your any other variables, fix it. Don't create mental upset. Let the mind to season it again and again. So Venerable Jnanananda, giving that example, he says, now about 200 years we are being familiar with aeroplanes or aerodynamics. Before that, no one thought that iron horse can fly. And at that time, Overwright and Wilbur Wright started this bloody foolish game. 200 years later only we know they are right. They are right. We are the fool, we never thought the iron can fly. Or metal can fly. Now it is flying. So likewise, whenever the mind is going to take away from the materiality, or Patavi Apo Tejo Vayo, or in the sense the cohesiveness, hardness, expansion, contraction, heat, cold kind of thing, and whenever the primary object ceases to exist, you are going to a sphere, more spacious and less friction, and in a comfort zone if you are a learned person. If you go prepared. For that, you need theoretical understanding. You need theory understanding and book knowledge and the listening. And not only that, before it is happening, you have to understand that by rationalization or by the deductive thinking, you can have kind of an idea even without any experience. If such a person going to experience it, he will connect his theory understanding and rational deductive thinking with his experience. This is it's so enlightening, it is so electric when it happens. It may happen when you are not in sitting, when you are listening. If you experience it, and one time when you are listening, you can understand, that is what happens. While I am experiencing, I was doubtful. I was not happy with that. Now this is what the Buddha is telling. Now we are going from the material sphere to the non-material sphere. And still the Buddha says there is a kind of frustration. There's a kind of a doubts, uncertainty, fear. Because we have never thought, we have never experienced this kind of unfamiliarity. Doubts can arise. The Buddha says it's valid, no problem. But you have to understand that amount of frustration, that amount of tension is such an insignificant level when compared to household problems, when compared to household frustration, tension. So you never compare it because you are a novelty, you are a newcomer. So therefore you are so worried about that leftover of this little bit of frustration. So most of the questions, when the retreat on the 5th day, 6th day, 7th day, is with respect to that. So it is not the arithmetic question, it is math, it is the higher maths or econometrics or metrical problem. So you wanted to have perfection, 100%, not by arithmetical part. You go in higher level of calculation, and these are, if at all, going to give answer, refinement less than 5%. 95% now you are fairly okay. But our mind is always find a reason to be worried. Always. That is the mind. So therefore, even under such circumstances, if the mind going to give opinion, or if mind is going to upper hand, it's so much of question can happen, but still, not that it is bad, not that it is abnormal, but the Buddha says, you have to understand the amount of dwelling in voidness whenever you have no object. Whenever you are in space, whenever you have no memory, whenever you have mindfulness but no perception, no feeling. So the problem in the Ānijasapaya Sutta, the Buddha says, whenever you go into that, you cannot be aware or awaken into that voidness. Only you understand voidness whenever it is broken by a sound. When it's broken by another gross object, then only you can understand that I came out from the situation where I have no memory. I don't know whether I was sleeping. I don't know whether I am maintaining my posture. Now you are happily engrossed with the sound came, the thought came, or pain happened. So therefore the Buddha is asking, in order to proceed, whenever such a sound happened and broken your concentration, can you observe this situation without hatred to the sound? That is Olympic. That is something Olympic. What happens is we hate the sound. We think it broke my concentration and mindfulness, and therefore you say that bloody dog is barking unwantedly. Otherwise I would have been enlightened that day. I was so close to Nibbana. Otherwise that bitch. So calculations are going that you have storytelling, start fabrication. So we must write something to the committee of the Nissarana. You have to get rid of all the dogs in the world, or get rid of out of the premises. So prolific things you can see. So the Buddha is asking, when the mind come back to the situation, it is coming back due to some kind of a aberration, kind of a friction. Whenever it happens, you can see instinctively the hatred arises. If you can see that hatred and analyze the situation, the Buddha says, etan santang etam panitang yadidang upekha. Then he says, oh, what a nice thing, what a blissful thing, that I was in upekha,
But I do not know. Due to sound only I came to know. I was in Upekka, now I am in sound. So what about going back to the, again, Upekka? You will never go as far as you are fighting with the beach. Never. This is the highest amount of discipline. It is not physical and verbal discipline. It's the discipline about your motivation, your volition, your will, preparedness. You see, you are going very deep core into yourself and understand that as far as you are in the comfort zone, you can't understand. You can awaken into that. Only you know when it's disturbed. But the worst thing is, you hate the disturbance. So therefore, if you wish to refine the Sunyata Viharana further, if you can understand this sound only enlightened me to say that I was in Upekka and now I am in the sound. So therefore, without hating, try to go back again to the same Upekka. The Buddha says, two methods. One thing is, now you have to understand it's agitated with little bit of irritation and fault finding and self-criticism and pedantic and so much of thing. Instead, the Buddha says, what about take that sound itself as an object, note it as, or advert your mind to the sound. So whenever that sound ceases to exist, again there's a chance for you to go back to the same Upekka. If you know how to make use that bloody distraction. And there's another parallel event. Whenever that is distraction or disturbance happen, your lost breath also reappear. So either you can go to the breath. Or the third part I would like to add is you can just go back to your body. I am sitting. Either way, you can make use that disturbing sound, or you can see in the periphery again the breath started. Breath is no more as far as you are in calm and quiet. Appear like no. But now it come threshold level, above the surface level, you can feel the breath. So you can, and most important thing, you will see, it is amazing, that breath you see, not disturbed. Even the bitch is barking, the mind is full of analysis and hate, but when you go back to the breath, it's very calm and quiet. So you can see, if you wish to get agitated, go to the sound and the hatred. And if you wish to be calm and quiet, come back to the breath, and ultimately breath ceases to exist very fast. And then again go to the same silence, or same space, or same voidness, or same comfort area. And again you can't expect that it to be infinitely be everlasting. Again it disturbed by a sound or pain or thought. So it must be very skillful. It start definitely with the hatred. You have irritation, you have self-criticism, you have fault finding, you have the expectation of not to have disturbance. No, this samsara is full of disturbance. But you know how to put it in the proper use when you are using when you are take the mean advantage of that object or the breath or the bodily posture, you find they are each and every time you see the body, it ceases to exist. Whenever you focus into the attention of the breath, ceases to exist. Even the sound is there, it is never lasting, everlasting, it ceases to exist. Soon it ceases to exist, go to the gain, that frictionless area. Or that is to say comfort zone. So now you can see the comfort zone is completely reciprocal with distraction. Distraction is completely dependent upon the comfort. So they are working now, or comfort or distraction. So imagine that you are mastering it for 1,000 and 100,000 times, to the point even the discomfort or comfort equal. That thought moment is not belong to the human world. It is supreme. Distractions are there, who cares? Because it is going to end up with the peace or the frictionless area. When the frictionless happens, it is going to end up with the distraction. So you see, They can't live without each other. The moment you are mastering it again and again without asking question and this thing, you can see distraction is there, the peace is there. They are happening due to the cause and effect relationship, which is none of your business. You are just a distant observer. At a time it is no object, at a time objects. And sometimes it's very difficult to say. You have to ask that question from the particular person. Do you appreciate that frictionless area as the higher advanced state, or distraction as the higher advanced stage of a meditation? Completely four answers can happen. Some people so much of, they have the fear of freedom, fear of unknown, therefore they get lost in no object life. They feel aloneness, loneliness. So therefore they think something hearing and happening is something human, so therefore I like object. But the learned person, prepared person, he knows loneliness is a defilement. I can see I am aloneness, so I can feel the aloneness. It is more true when there is no friction, when there is no, when as far as you are in a comfort zone, but you can't experience it sometimes. You don't know. So therefore some people hate this blank, some people hate the object, some people have the equal to the both, some people never go into that state. As far as you are in the household life, you never go into that state. No chance. Some people go into that, select, this is better, this is bad. This is better, this is better, so much so you are again making a trouble. So go or season or master or repeat it 1,001 times where even little trouble or peace, both of them are the same. Imagine one day one can fairly put up with that. Little distractions are there, but it's bearable. Don't make complaints. Just see the end of it. Just see the cessation of it. And again you can go to the peace of mind. But don't expect that is to last for long. Expect that to also distract by another sound or pain, and that is all ceases to exist. So now you are observing the cessation. A distraction happens, ceases. Peace of mind happens, ceases to exist. So this is the only time you are see the phenomena from the cessation point of view. Till that you are observing the phenomena from the arising point of view. Arising point is so emotional. It is so much mixed up with your feelings, likings and dislikings, so much so you will be carried away or washed away by your thinking and proliferation and fantasizing, daydreaming. The moment you try to see the cessation, that's called the Nirodha Satcha, the cessation, you see that you can't do while you are in the household problems. You are in household frustration and tension. You can't live, you can't experience it as far as you are, even you are in the monastery, if you are not happy in the monastic life. Even you can't be, even if you can confine your attention to the body, and if you consider this as a boring, monotonous, sleepy, and all the kind of complaint, you never go into that. So you must have a mindset, you are earning it with your effort to get rid of the household problems. You come to the monastery and appreciate it. Once you come to the monastery, you confine it to the body and appreciate it. Once you confine to the body, you select one or the other elements, and that is, you appreciate it. And then that also ceases to exist, and that also you appreciate or facilitate it, or give condition. And when that comes to the bare minimum, you just see the reciprocal nature or cause and effect nature. You are no more inflicted. You are a distant observer, and that is the way Buddha is looking at the problems. Not that there is no problem. There ceases to exist. The day you accept it, even you have a headache or toothache or whatever problem, naturally that understanding you can apply to your day-to-day affairs and even to the materialistic world, or the sensuous world, don't worry about that. That is the endowment. The day you establish in that maximum climax point or highest point, that nature later it is being applied to the normal frictional thing. So you develop the not to carried away by the vicissitudes of the world. So whatever the ability you have, it never justified unless otherwise you experience in deep meditation. Then your upekha, or then your not to carried away by the vicissitudes become reinforced, and you can reify it again and again in the meditation. Ultimately you can understand the world is the same, but you know the art not to worry. So whole meditation is, main thing is not to worry. In Sinhala, I call galalla. Unat galalla. So people will come and find it, you are irresponsible, you are callous, you don't care and kind of thing. So those who have responsibility, they will take care about the worry. We are the disciple of the Buddha. Buddha mentioned you are in faith, you are in precepts, you are in mindfulness. So reduce it up to the bare minimum in order to get the convincing, get the confidence, and then apply everywhere. Then you can understand people are so happy with the worries. They are searching about worries. More educated people, more so. More rich people, more so. More well-to-do people, more so. So therefore I am not appreciating ignorance. I am not appreciating the poor nature, but I am telling, if you know the technique, even if you have all the good and bad characters, you know how to not to get inflict. The example the Buddha given is, if you put a drop of water into the petal of the lotus, it can hold the water, but when it tilted, it will just drop. It never smear. It can hold. So therefore, the person can say that still the petal is with water. No, yes. It's not smeared. It happens no distance from the water to the petal, but not smearing. So like you can be full of suffering, people are making so much of complaints, still you can see. So it is being depicted or given an epithet. The day before the Buddha's enlightenment, he is walking on a mountain of excrement, not touching. He is walking on the mountain of the excrements or shit. He can walk without touching. So therefore don't worry about the reducing of the suffering in this world, because people are happy with that. Ask them to be meddle with that. Let them have their own dream, don't worry. Mata dakinna mage ida arinna mage hine. That is the whole the demand of the people. Let me see my own dream, don't disturb me. So if it is so, let them have it. But you are a disciple. You know the method. You also get the way out only with respect to the amount of suffering you have, amount of frustration you have, amount of the tension. So therefore, if you do not know your frustration, if you do not know your tension, Buddha cannot help. You must understand, appreciate with respect to only you can go the lack of frustration, lack of tension, or lack of self-criticism, or lack of irritation. And when and where you go prepared, it is like a drop of water on the petal of the lotus, it never smear. So therefore, of course, this is the extraordinary character the Buddha is having, but the way of Dhamma talk and the discussion is to communicate it with the people with full of frustration, full of problems, full of responsibilities, but they must know how to penetrate and go into that frictionless place or comfort zone is always in your mind. You are never deprived of that peace of mind, so you have to understand where to advert your mind. If you are adverting to the misunderstanding and frustration and irritation, you end up with full of frustration and disappointment. And midst of all the frustration and this thing, the mental concomitant is always in your stream of consciousness. That is how the Buddha tackled the problem of Patachara. When she was coming, she was full of disappointment. Everything gone wrong, but still Buddha asked, sister, be mindful. She was. And that is exactly with the Kisa Gautami. Buddha never asked, go and get the white clothes and get 8 precepts and start with Anapanasati and then come back and do my interviews and kind of thing. So his retreat organizers are making so much of fuss. So I am very safe. I say, you go and ask the retreat organizer, they will decide what are the compendium of rules and kind of thing. I say, I am the real cursor, but I am completely free. So retreat organizer says, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. So I look at the game. I look at this teledrama. But don't expect all the time this sequence. The teaching is so radical for some people. But only thing is, you people also radical, but you reject experience. You are rejecting your under-the-nose experience. You always try to fix it with that theory, this theory. That is how you infiltrate it. You make it filthy. You infest it. So let the experience to happen. It is not far away. I am not going to enlighten you in this one retreat. Not that I wanted to make you sotapanna, that kind of thing. I am telling you are the masters of rejecting your first-hand experience and reading so much of unwanted books, listening to so much of misguided people and expecting others to tell that you are enlightened. So much so, we have this 108, I don't know how many retreats we are going to have. So much of retreats can happen. But what I am telling is the same. The day you develop your own confidence about the cessation of at least the breath, you can see whether you are dwelling in the void or sunyata viharana or not. Not that other people can decide. So hope you can develop more and more confidence based upon the mistakes maybe, experience maybe, and that is the way you understand this Nirodha Satya or truth of cessation, not in the future, not in the Buddha, the Mithya, here and now. It is already with you. It fix the microscope and pick it. Moment you see, you are there. So wherever you go, there you are. So with that remark, I would like to sum up today's talk. Thank you very much for listening.